Good afternoon, everyone. It is Lydia here again, and welcome back to our Supreme Self Development and Self Awareness program. And yes, we're talking about anger and anger management. I am so happy to be with you again this afternoon as together we continue and wrap up our journey of exploring all things anger and all things anger management because our aim was to become experts at managing that sometimes strong emotion anger so that we can be great examples to those who may be looking at us as we made those wonderful positive choices if and when we become angry. I want to welcome all of you who have joined us on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram, and those who will be with me in Zoom. Now, I hope by now you already have all your pens and your pencils and everything that you need so that we can get our session started. Now, we're going to go straight into this evening session. Last week, we would have looked at anger management clues and cues. And now we know what our body is telling us when we get angry. We're now going to move into looking and identifying those coping strategies to help us calm ourselves, calm our bodies, to help us to be able to think wisely and then make the best choice. So let's go straight into coping skills. But what really is a coping skill? Now, coping skills are those methods that persons may use to deal with stressful situations. And the stressful situation that we've been talking about for the past few weeks would have been anger. So, anger coping skills or anger coping strategies are the methods that we would use to help deal with us when we encounter a situation that may make us angry. Now,
Good
some
evening.
may Hi, good evening. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. We're looking at
Welcome.
coping skills. Now, there are some coping skills that are good and some that are poor. Now, those coping skills, which are good ways, means that we respond in a way that helps us and helps others to feel better about the situation. So we have those good and those poor coping skills. Let's look at those coping skills that may be poor. What happens when we use poor coping skills? Now, poor coping skills are those things that we may use that may end up hurting us or even hurting other people. And those things we call negative reactions to anger. So there are some good ones and there are some poor ones. Now, normally people begin on the right foot or on the good foot. But I want to begin with looking at some poor coping strategies because I want us to end on a good note. So, some of those negative reactions to anger that I really do not want you to do include not letting go, keeping your anger bottled up, and responding to anger with anger. Yeah, I know sometimes, we may get angry and we may have a right to get angry. But what we do sometimes is that we hold on to that anger. We don't want to let it go because we feel like we have been wrong. But as time goes by, your anger, when you keep it, it grows and it grows and it grows. And your thoughts sometimes, become obsessed with anger. And even sometimes we begin to think about getting revenge against that person. So it is best for us and it's best for our body that we let go of the anger, that we don't hold those things, even though, yes, it hurts when somebody may do something mean to us. We want to forgive them because it is the best thing for us. Now, keeping it bottled up. What do I mean by keeping it bottled up? Guys, have you ever taken like a bottle of soda or Sprite and shake it up? Have you taken a bottle of soda or Sprite or shake it up?
Yes, please.
When you shake up the bottle, what happens? If you go
The
to open
bottle
the
got
cover,
broke.
What
It will
happens when it
explode.
flows?
It
Right.
will
All
flow.
the juice. Right. It explodes when you open it up. And that's what happens when we keep our anger on the inside. Something may happen and we get angry and we say, you know what? I'm going to put that aside. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to express it. And then some more anger comes and we say, you know what? I'm just going to shrug that off. I'm just going to push that aside. And because we're holding on to it, it is bottled up, and eventually some little thing may happen. And just like that bottle, everything explodes. So we're letting go of our anger and we're not keeping it bottled up. We are expressing our anger in appropriate ways. Now, the next one that I want to make sure that you don't do is to respond to anger with anger. And I know sometimes it seems like that is the natural reaction, you know, but it often makes the situation worse. It's like some person comes to you and they're angry and they're upset and they shout at you. If you shout back at them, what normally happens? Then you guys begin to,
Quarrel
uh,
or fight.
right, you begin to quarrel and begin to fight. Does that solve the situation? Does that help to
Not
calm
really.
you? Right. Does that calm you down? Does that calm down the other person?
No, please.
No, no, it doesn't. It
Make
actually
things
can.
worse.
Wonderful. It makes the situation worse. So remember, even if somebody comes to you with anger, try as best as possible not to respond to them with anger. Right? So those negative reactions to anger we don't want to do is holding on to anger. We don't want to keep it bottled up, and we don't want to respond to anger with anger. So now that we've got those negative ones out the way, let's go to some really positive ways of dealing with anger. Now I know sometimes we our right, some persons may, not treat us appropriately. And remember, I said that everybody gets angry sometimes, and there are times that we have a right to be angry. So, especially during these times, I want you to use these good coping skills. Now, we all have a right to make mistakes. And sometimes we get angry at ourselves when we make mistakes. But I want you to remember that everybody has a right to make mistakes. Everybody has the right to privacy as well. So if somebody invades your privacy, you know what? Yes, you have the right to get upset. Even when you don't understand something and you need to query it. If the person does not want you to understand or don't think that you should query, then it's kind of okay if you get upset in that situation, because everybody has the right sometimes not to understand and to question. Even if you are treated with we have the right to be treated with respect. So no matter who it is, adults should treat children with respect. Children definitely treat your elders with respect. So we all have the right to be treated with respect. And if somebody does not respect us, it does make us angry. And also the right to be listened to. If you have to say something, everybody has the right to be heard. So it is your right to speak up, but speak up respectfully. So when persons do not allow us to have our rights, those things also make us really upset and angry. But although we have the right to be angry, remember, it is what we do when we become angry that really makes the difference. So, what do we do? What can we do when we get angry? Let's keep going. Now, remember, we looked at all those anger cues last week. You guys remember? We looked at your heart is pounding, you're pacing. Sometimes you may clench your
Hot.
fist. Right.
Start
You have a,
sweating.
right. You start
You get
sweating.
headache.
Right. Wonderful. So the first step in managing your anger is, first of all, helping to calm your body. Calm your body, because your body, is really tense at that point in time. And normally we talk about stop and think. But even before we can think properly, it is good for us to calm our bodies. So how can we calm our bodies? We do a timeout. We take a timeout. We say to ourselves, you know what, stop. It's time to take a timeout. And the first thing you can do is drink some water. I hope you guys love water. Yes, water is really good for your body. And it also helps to bring a calm to you as well. So let's keep going. You can drink some water and we can also count to 10. Have you guys ever heard about that one? People say if you are upset, you can count to 10. And maybe if you're really, really, really upset, you can probably count to 100. Now, we also talked about our heart beating fast, and sometimes your blood pressure may go up and your heart increases. What we want to do is make sure and relax and calm our hearts as well, calm our breathing. And deep breathing helps to slow the heart rate. And there are many different ways that we can do deep breathing. Some include using a breathing board, and I love to use these. Using a breathing board, or even try 5-finger breathing. And 5-finger breathing is fairly easy, where you take your hand and you're tracing along your fingers. So every time you go up, and guys, I want you to do this with me. So we're going to start at the thumb. Every time you go up your finger, you breathe in. Every time you come down, you breathe out. Every time you go up another finger, we breathe in. And every time you come down the finger, you breathe out. You do that in and out. And by the time you get to the last finger, your heart rate should be slower, and you should be breathing a little bit easier. I'm also going to show you an example of a breathing board. This one I love a lot. It is called the Figure 8 breathing board. And if you can see the screen clearly, you can even put your hand on the screen and you can trace it. You can follow the arrows and it tells you when to breathe in, and you're breathing as you follow the arrows, and it tells you when to breathe out again. As you go up again, it tells you when to breathe in, and then it tells you when to breathe out. And you can do that Figure 8 breathing board for a few times, and definitely I know that it will help you to calm down. So let's keep going. Another coping strategy is that of exercise, or you can play a
Put
sport.
against the
What
wall.
sport do you guys love?
Football.
Football, right. So if you're angry, you can go and you can play that sport because it causes you to run around. That physical activity will help you to relieve some of the built up anger. Yes, the built up anger that you may have. And it helps you to be able to calmly then go deal with whatever situation that may have made you upset. How about push against the wall? When you go to the wall, you're angry, and you use all of that anger, all of that energy, and you push against the wall, and then you relax. You push against the
Some
wall
people
again.
cough.
Pardon? Some
Some people
people
cough.
push. Right. So instead of cuffing others or even kicking, you can go and push on the wall because you won't hurt the wall, but you'll be able to express and relax yourself by doing that. So whenever you feel like you want to kick somebody or cuff somebody, I want you to go push on the wall, and then that will help you to relax. So let's keep going with our coping strategies. Wonderful.
The time I felt happy was when.
Right. A time when I felt happy was when. Now, what I call these is that we imagine, we imagine or we visualize a very happy memory or a peaceful place. So you think about these things. A time when I felt happy was when. And when you close your eyes and you think about those things, or a time when I felt peaceful was when. And you take a little time and you think about it. Can you tell me a time where you felt happy? Somebody tell me quickly. The last thing you remember that made you feel really happy.
Play football or fall down.
Playing football and volleyball, right? So when you get
Fall
angry
down.
and you want to calm yourself, you can close your eyes and you can think about that time that made you feel happy. You can think about that time that made you feel peaceful, or even the time that made you laugh really, really, really hard. So let's keep going. And I hope that that you would have done some of these as well. How about this one? Take a nap. Yep. When all else fails, you can go take a nap, because I'm sure when you wake up, your body will be so relaxed and it will not be as angry, or that you will not feel the anger as much before, and you'll be able to think clearly and you'll be able to make the best choices. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what's next. What other coping strategies? Now, we can also use calming tools. Now, what do I mean by a calming tool? Do you guys know that there are some of these balls that you can squeeze in your hand? They're really soft. They fit in your
Yes,
hand.
ma'am. I can use
Right.
Play-Doh.
Right. Or Play-Doh, wonderful. That was going to be my other suggestion. And sometimes because we clench our fists, if we have a calming tool like that ball or the Play-Doh, we can squeeze it and then we can release. Squeeze it and then we can release. A really nice one that I love as well is blowing bubbles. When you put it in the bottle and you blow the bubbles and you watch the bubbles, it can help bring that calm and that relaxed feeling to you. Yep, that really calm and relaxed feeling. Let's keep going. Let's see what other strategies there are. Now, this one. Sometimes we talked
Squeeze.
about tense shoulders. Remember last week we talked about tense shoulders? That your shoulders
Yes,
can become
please.
tense when you're angry.
Yes,
Now,
please.
this coping strategy is a way that you can relax your muscles. Because sometimes when we get angry, our muscles become really, really tense. And this is called the rock and the sock technique. Now, what I want you to actually practice is that I want you to stretch your hands out and I want you to squeeze your fists really tight, like a rock, like as solid as a rock. Right. And then you're going to relax them and let them dangle like a sock. Yeah. And then you're going to squeeze your fists again together like a rock. And then you're going to let them dangle like a sock. The same thing with the shoulders. And you can do that throughout your body. Tense your shoulders just as hard as you can like a rock. And then you can relax them floppy like a sock. You can do that with your toes as well. Tense them like a rock and then relax them floppy like a sock. So that is the rock and sock muscle relaxation technique. Let's keep going. Let's see what other coping strategies there are. Now, you can help someone or you can do a chore. Helping others actually can take our minds off from our anger. Do you agree? If we help other people, even if when we do a chore. So doing these activities can be a effective outlet for your anger. So if you realize, you know what, you're at school and somebody has upset you, you can, go ask your teacher if she needs your help so that you can calm yourself and then you can respond to the situation appropriately. How about reading a book? There are lots of different books that I know we both enjoy. You can find your favorite book and you can read that favorite story, and it will definitely bring some calm. We also talk about looking at some feel-good pictures. Let's see some of those feel-good pictures. They should be coming up soon. And when I say feel-good pictures, it's like that visual that when you look at it, it makes you feel calm. Some of these are my feel-good pictures. They can either make me feel happy and I laugh, or it just can make me feel calm. If anybody can see the dog right there, what does the dog say? What's written above the dog? It says to what?
Just
Anybody
breathe.
can? Right, just breathe. And the elephant saying, you know what? You are lovable.
Yeah,
The squirrel
lovable.
is telling me there is beauty
There is beauty everywhere.
everywhere. Wonderful. So you can look at things, look at pictures that make you feel happy, that make you feel calm, and make you feel relaxed. So let's keep going. What's our next coping strategy that we can use? Let's see what's coming up. Right, you can be creative. When we are creative or using creative methods, it helps us to express that anger in a more acceptable way, where we can sit, we can focus in and acknowledge that, you know what, I am actually angry. I am angry here, and I'm going to use it in a creative way. And some of those creative activities may be journaling, writing in your diary, writing a letter. You can write a letter to yourself about how you're feeling, or you can write a letter to that person that may have hurt you and express your feelings to them. There are lots of different things that you can write about. And sometimes as we write, it helps us to be able to express that anger and release any of that intense emotion that we may have. Some people love to color and to draw. Anybody loves to draw? Anybody loves drawing,
Yes, ma'am.
coloring? What do you love to draw? What type of
Yes,
pictures?
ma'am.
What type of pictures you love to
Um,
draw?
characters from
Yeah.
animations.
Okay, wonderful. So because you love that activity, if you become angry to help calm yourself down, you can go do that activity that you love. So let's keep going. You can color, like I said, you can journal, you can draw. Let's keep going. You can draw. Some people even love to do dance. And dance is a way of helping them to be able to express that emotion as well. Let's keep going. We can also do those things that we love, those hobbies that you enjoy. Some people love to play a musical instrument. Some people love to make crafts. You can do that thing that makes you feel happy so that you can help calm yourself and relax yourself. And you will be able to think a bit clearer as you would have experienced that situation that would have made you angry. Now, let's keep going. Now, after we would have calmed ourselves and calmed our bodies, remember, we still want to address the situation that may have occurred. And remember earlier we talked about those things that persons may do that may be against our rights. And therefore, we may feel that, you know what, I have the right to be angry. So it is important sometimes that we communicate our feelings to others so that it can help us resolve our anger, and it can also bring some insight to those persons who may have hurt us so they know what hurts us, and the next time they will try not to do that. So when we communicate, there are some things that are really important for us to do when we are upset. We need to be assertive. Let's keep going. We need to be assertive. We use I statements and we seek to identify the solutions. Now, what am I talking about when I say about being assertive? Sometimes, and I'm going to use the situation maybe like bullying. When some person tries to take advantage of you, when some person tries to bully you, this can make us upset and it can make us really, really angry. And we want to stand up to the bully. But how are we going to stand up to the bully? The bully won't necessarily listen to us if we're angry and we're fighting. And remember, we said if we're fighting, we can make the situation worse. Now, we want to be assertive. So being assertive is a way of saying what you think and what you feel without being aggressive or without putting down somebody or without them seeing that you are really, really upset. So it's a kind of like a way of straight talking. You're saying it straight to them. You are being assertive. Your body language, you're looking them full in their face You are calm and you are relaxed and you are stating how you feel. And to express how you feel, we want to use I statements. I statements tell people how you feel. And I'm going to teach you how to put together a really good I statement. Now, an I statement begins with stating how you feel. Remember, we talked about emotions and that there were 8 basic emotions, guys. And we're talking about anger right now. So I may be able to say, I feel angry. Can somebody else give me another word for angry? I feel, what else may you
Um,
say? Or maybe
Vex.
on the top of your eye, right? I feel vexed, or I feel annoyed or frustrated. And then the next part of our sentence describes the situation. So it tells persons what they would have done. And you usually say when you. So we begin with I feel, and we put the emotion there. And then we describe the situation when you, and we tell them what they did. We continue by saying what we would like to change. We tell them what we would like to change. So I would like you, and it's usually what you would like them to do instead. Okay? Is what you would like them to do instead. And then sometimes we end the sentence by saying what you will do in return. So I would like you to do this, and then I would do this. So I'm going to show you an example. And my example says, I feel, can somebody read it for me, please? I feel
I feel annoyed when you think my
annoyed.
stuff acting.
Wonderful. Next
Next
time,
time, I would like you to act first.
ask first. Wonderful. So let's look at this. It says, I feel. And remember, then we put our emotion there, our feeling there, and then we tell them what they did that made us upset. This person took your stuff without asking. And then we end it off by telling them what we would like to do. So this is one way that you can be assertive. You can express your anger, and you can let persons know what you would like them to do the next time. All right. So using I statements helps you to express and communicate your anger. You know, if I go and slap the person, would they know what they may have done that would have hurt me? Probably not. Would they know what I would rather them do? Probably not. For them to know that information, I have to communicate with them. And using I statements is a wonderful way. And remember, when you're using those I statements, be as calm as you can. And you would have let them know what was the solution to that problem as well. Now let's keep going. I think 2 weeks ago we talked about self-talk, and we recognize how negative self-talk can make us even angrier. Remember that Kevin, when he had all those thoughts in his mind and he was saying his mommy doesn't like him, his mommy doesn't love him, his mommy doesn't want him to play. All of those thoughts help to make him feel even angrier and angrier. So we want to replace negative self-talk with those positive things. And if we talk positive, it can help us to stay calm and in control. So I don't want you to ever forget, whenever you feel a negative thought coming, I want you to replace it with a positive thought. Now, I'm going to share some examples of some positive thoughts with you. Yep. It says, you know what? I can calm myself with a slow, deep breath. And if you repeat that to yourself, that's positive self-talk. It's telling you what you can do. Another one says, it's okay not to always know what to do. Remember, we said we have the right to make mistakes. So it's okay to not always know. So we won't be too hard on ourselves sometimes when we make mistakes. I can get through anything. That really can give you a real boost if you're feeling angry or you're feeling as though you cannot get something done. So saying those positive things to yourself can help to calm you, help to boost your mood, and help you feel even more empowered to deal with the situation that may be happening at this time. So remember, I want you to change those negative messages into positive ones. Always speak positively. So let's keep going. So don't forget, um, I want you to think about all of what we would have looked at. And I don't want you to ever forget, remember, we talked about that everything may not work for everyone. So it's up to you to think and to practice many of the coping skills when you feel like you're becoming angry, and practice them even when you may just be a little frustrated to see if they work. So that when you may be at the top of the scale of anger, you already know what coping skills you can use to help calm your body, to help relax yourself, so that you can use those wonderful I messages to communicate how you are feeling, and then you can make the best and the most positive choice. So I have a checklist here for you, and I just want you to, you know what, take a look at them and think about some of the coping skills that you think you can use. Tell me one that coping skill that you think that you can use from those skills that we'd have looked at. We looked at the breathing exercises. We looked at playing sport. Which one do you think you can use when you are
Drawing.
becoming running?
Drawing.
Oh, drawing. Wonderful. Yes, I remember you said that you are really good at drawing. So you can use drawing, especially when you recognize that you are becoming angry. But it is good to try some others as well, so that you have lots of tools in that toolbox when you need it, that you can pull on when you are feeling angry and when you're feeling upset. All right, let's keep going. As you practice these skills, it is very important to follow some steps, because you remember, we want to become really, really good at managing our anger. So it's important that we set some goals, and also set the goals in a time frame. So for example, you might be able to say, and I'm going to use your example. Now for the next month, I want to use drawing to help me manage my anger. So that's your goal, and you've given yourself a time frame. And what you do from there is that you can tell your family and your friends, and they can help support you. They can help remind you. Don't forget, you said you're practicing using the skill of drawing to help calm yourself when you are angry. And what you do is that you track your progress. When you recognize that you became angry and you use the skill, you note it down.
It's a
When you
journal.
recognize you become angry and you did not remember to use the skill, you also note it down. Because when you see your improvements, it helps you to feel, really encouraged and want to keep doing it. And it also can show you which skills may be working better for you. Okay, so can you try that for me? Can you try for the
Okay.
next few weeks to use that skill and try to note down when it worked for you? And here's one that's really important. Reward yourself. Treat yourself when you've reached your goal or when you're about halfway. So about after 2 weeks, you can step back and you can see, you know what? Yeah, I've been using this skill. I've been using my drawing. I've been pushing on the wall, or I've been relaxing my muscles. And I realized that, you know what? It's been working for me and I've been doing really well. And you can give yourself a treat, whether it may be a movie or a snack that you like. Give yourself a treat, because it helps you to feel motivated, and it helps you to feel encouraged to keep going and to keep going. So, as we begin to close our session this evening and to wrap up our anger management journey, what I want to do is just take a quick look at what we would have done for the past few weeks. So let's do a quick review. Now, on our journey, we looked at our 8 basic emotions. And what I want to recap is that I want to encourage you to keep going back to those videos because remember, practice, practice, practice makes perfect. So we looked at
If
emotions
you
and we
don't mind,
recognized that there were 8 basic
Mom,
emotions. Let's keep going. Right. We recognize that an
you don't mind.
emotion, yes, please.
You said perfect,
Yes. Wonderful.
permanent.
Okay, thank you. Now, we ask the question, why do we have emotions? And we recognize that emotions give us information and it helps us to understand ourselves and it helps us to understand others. And it also helps us to make decisions. So, our very first step on our journey was that we explored what emotions were. Let's keep going because we recognize that to understand anger, we had to understand how emotions work. We learned that there were different ways of showing emotions and that you can do things to change how you feel and how others feel. And that's why we looked at those coping skills today in that step, because when we are angry, we want to, change our emotions so that we may feel a little bit more comfortable. Remember, everyone has emotions and feelings, and it is okay to have any of those feelings. So, is it okay to be angry? Is it okay to be angry?
Yes, please.
Right. Is it okay to be sad?
Yes, please. It's what you do when you get angry or sad.
Awesome. Wonderful. That was wonderful. All right. So that was our first step. Then we looked at anger in itself. What is anger? Can anger be controlled? And we realized that anger occurs when we feel that somebody wants to harm us or to harm our loved ones and our property. So we went on to figure out, what, when we feel this threat and when we feel hurt or when we feel our loved ones are being hurt, can we control that emotion? Is it possible to control that emotion of anger? And we did learn that, what? Yes, we can control it, but we need to have what? A plan. We need to have a plan to manage our emotion. And that took us to step 3, where we looked at creating a plan. So in step 3, we sought to identify what our triggers were. What were our triggers? Remember, we said that there were situations that trigger us, and we learned that the situation that may trigger me may not trigger you. So everybody has different triggers. We also learned that some people may say or do things that can make us angry or even angrier. We looked at our thoughts. We recognize that if we think positively, or if we think negatively, it will have an impact on whether we feel calm in the situation or if we become more upset. And one of the coping strategies that we learned just now is that we're going to think positively. We're going to have positive thoughts and we're going to have positive self self-talk, sorry. We also learned that not everything that we think is fact. Not everything that we think is true sometimes. Sometimes it is false, just like Kevin and the thoughts that he had that his mom didn't love him. So we must think, is this thought true? Is this thought false? And of course, if it is false, we put it out of our minds immediately. So we identify our triggers. And then last week, we identified our body clues, those signs that tell us that we are feeling angry. And we were encouraged that, you know what? Always listen to your body. Your body tells you is a good way to recognize when you are becoming angry. listen to your body. Remember, we may not feel the same body clues all of the time, but our body always gives us a clue, whether it's the clenching of the fist, the headache, the stomach ache, the sweating. Our body always gives us clues. So focus, pay attention to your body. And then today, as we wrapped up our sessions, we looked at those coping strategies. It's really important for us to identify what strategies we plan to use to help us to cope when we may be feeling angry. And if we follow those steps, then we're going to have a beautiful anger management plan, making sure you identify your triggers, you know what your body clues are, and then you fill up your toolkit with those coping skills and those coping tools that we know will help you to calm yourself and help you to make the most positive choice for yourself and others whenever you may be in a situation that may be causing you to feel angry. So, guys, we have come to the end of another session and to the end of our anger management series. Now, it really was my pleasure being with you on Tuesdays. I enjoyed our time together. I really want to thank you for participating, because you really participated each and every week, sharing with me all your thoughts and your ideas about anger. You know what? I have seen some progress, and I hope you have as well. I am truly proud of all that you have done, and I hope that you are proud of yourselves as well. I want to encourage you to continue this journey, learning even more and more about anger and about any additional anger management strategies. I'm confident that once you keep practicing and you keep your anger management logs that we talked about, that managing anger will become so much easier with time. And remember, if you recognize that you need help, please don't be afraid to talk to your family members, any trusted adults or friends, or even a psychologist if you need some additional help. So I want to encourage you to keep listening to your body, keep trying your coping skills, and not only keep the information for you, but I want you to share the information with others as well. Because when you become good at managing your anger, and when others become really good at managing their anger as well, our relationships and our interactions become even more enjoyable. So thanks again for joining me. So until next time when we meet again, I am Lydia, and it was wonderful being with you. I'm wishing you a wonderful remainder of the day and a wonderful week. Bye.